Leon kicked the door in. The wood cracked against the wall with a violent slam that shook the entire room. A picture frame fell off a nearby shelf and shattered. "Maya!" he roared. His voice didn't just fill the apartment, it commanded it. He had driven here in a fury that felt like fire in his veins, a year's worth of betrayal boiling to the surface. His fists were trembling, his jaw locked so tight it ached. He didn't care who heard. He didn't care what time it was. He didn't care how she felt. She had ignored him for months. His calls, his messages, his legal notices, his lawyers, everything. No one ignored Leon Harrington, not business partners, not board members, not the press, not his ex-wife. His footsteps pounded across the floor as he stormed in. "You think you can hide from me? You think you can disappear and pretend none of it happened? Answer me." His voice cracked with a rage that was too sharp, too raw, too personal. He didn't see her yet. The living room was dim. The curtains were drawn. The air smelled like lavender and something warm, something familiar. But he was too angry to place it. He spotted her silhouette in the hallway. Small, still, frozen. She wasn't running. She wasn't fighting. She was just standing. "Say something," Leon barked. But his voice didn't come out like thunder anymore. It came out like something breaking. Maya stepped forward slowly. Her shoulders were thin, her frame fragile. She looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. No, months. The kind of exhaustion that lived in her bones. Leon opened his mouth to continue yelling, but the words died in his throat. Because Maya was holding something. She wasn't just standing there. She was holding a baby, a tiny, sleeping newborn, wrapped in a soft blanket tucked against her chest. Leon's fury didn't fade. It collapsed, just collapsed. Like someone knocked the breath out of him with a fist. He didn't move. He didn't speak. He just stared. Maya lowered her gaze, not with shame, not with guilt, but with a kind of quiet, protective fear. Her arms curled instinctively around the baby, shielding, guarding. Leon tried to speak, but his throat burned. His voice scraped out in pieces. What is that?" Maya flinched, her lips parted, but no words came out. Leon felt the room begin to spin. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't think. This wasn't possible. This couldn't be real. "Say something," he whispered, but now his voice trembled, stripped of power. Maya swallowed hard. "Leon, please lower your voice. You'll wake him." His heartbeat stopped. Him. Her eyes lifted, slow, pained, brimming with tears she refused to let fall. "Yes," she whispered. "Him." The baby stirred at the sound of their voices. His face scrunched. A soft, tiny cry escaped. And then Leon saw it. The eyes. Those eyes. Amber, sharpy, recognizable. His eyes. The same eyes that had stared back at him in mirrors since childhood. The same eyes that existed in every portrait in his family estate. Leon's hand went numb. His breath hitched. Heat flooded his face and chest and arms all at once. "Maya." His voice cracked like broken glass. "Is that..." Her voice came out as a whisper of truth she could no longer carry alone. "He's yours." Silence didn't fall. Silence exploded. Leon stumbled back a step, hitting the wall behind him. He stared at the child, not breathing, not blinking, not thinking. His son. His son. His voice came out like something dying. You hid my child from me?" Maya's chin quivered. "I didn't hide him to hurt you." "Then why?" Leon's voice sharpened, trembling. "Why didn't you tell me?" She finally looked directly at him. "Because if your family knew he existed, they would have taken him. They would have raised him as an heir, not as a child. And if I refused..." Her breath broke. They promised he would never be born. The floor fell out from under Leon. He knew exactly who they meant. His mother, his uncles, the board, the empire, the people he had defended his entire life. Leon felt something heavy and cold creep up his spine. Maya, my mother said something to you, didn't she? Maya closed her eyes, and a tear slid free. She didn't threaten me, Leon. She threatened him, before he even took his first breath. Leon's jaw clenched until he tasted blood. No. His voice was low, dangerous. No, she wouldn't. Maya looked at him, tired, defeated, but still burning with a mother's fear. You know she would. And he did. God help him, he did. The baby whimpered again. Maya soothed him with gentle kisses against his forehead. Her arms shook from exhaustion. Leon watched her, not the woman who left him, the woman who kept a child alive on her own, with no money, no support, no sleep, no help, and no certainty, except that she had to. His anger didn't just fade, it turned into something else entirely, something that felt like grief. He took one slow step forward. Let me hold him. Maya hesitated, not because she didn't trust Leon, but because she didn't trust the world he came from. Still, she slowly placed the baby in his arms. Leon held his son, and every war he had ever fought, every pride he had ever clung to, every belief he ever thought was unshakable, collapsed. This was not a negotiation. This was not a contract. This was not power. This was a life. His life. Their child. After a long, trembling silence, Maya whispered, "So, what will you do now, Leon?" And he realized something terrifying. He didn't know. If you're still here, something in this story hit you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts so you don't miss what happens next. Leon held the baby like he was made of something sacred. He didn't breathe at first. He was afraid to. His hands were steady, years of discipline, control, precision. But his heart was anything but steady. The baby blinked up at him, slowly, curiously, as if deciding whether this man was a safe place or a storm. Leon felt his throat tighten. "I don't even know his name," he whispered. Maya sat slowly on the couch, her hands clasped tightly together. She looked like someone living on the edge of collapse, the kind of exhaustion that went beyond the physical. "His name is Aiden," she said softly. "Aiden." Leon repeated it in his mind, once, twice, like trying to memorize the shape of it on his soul. Aiden, his son. He swallowed. How old? 6 weeks. 6 weeks. 6 weeks of first cries, 6 weeks of sleepless nights, 6 weeks of first smiles, first noises, first warmth held close. And he hadn't been there for a single moment. Does he know how to be held? Leon asked, voice almost too fragile to exist. Maya blinked, caught off guard by the innocence of the question. "Yes," she whispered. "He likes it when someone is steady. He likes to be close." Leon adjusted his hold. Aiden settled, his tiny fingers curling around the edge of Leon's shirt. Something inside Leon shattered quietly. Maya watched him, trying to read him, trying to predict him, trying not to hope. Leon slowly lifted his gaze to Maya. "Why didn't you tell me?" The question was not an accusation now. It was a wound. Maya looked away. Her voice cracked. "I did tell you. I called. I sent messages. I tried to meet you. But every time I was stopped, blocked, redirected." Leon's jaw tightened. "My family intercepted you." "Yes." Maya's voice trembled. "Your mother showed up. She sat me down in that house with all the portraits and all the history and told me that I was temporary. She told me that the only value I had was leaving quietly." Leon felt a coldness spread through him. "What did she offer you?" he asked quietly. Maya laughed, but it wasn't laughter. It was pain dressed as humor. Freedom, safety, money, a clean exit. She said I could leave the marriage with grace if I did it before the pregnancy was known. Leon's expression twisted. So you left because of her? Maya shook her head. No, I left because of what she said next. Leon waited. She said the Harrington legacy could not be contaminated with emotionally weak blood, that a child raised by me would be a disadvantage, that if I insisted on having him, there were ways to make sure the child did not survive the pregnancy. Leon froze. That was no subtle threat. That was a death sentence. He felt sick, physically sick. I didn't know, he muttered. His voice was faint, thin, like he couldn't find air. Maya, I swear to you, I didn't know. She nodded once. I know. If you had known, you would have fought. But you didn't know because she made sure you didn't. Leon sat down. Slowly, Aiden still in his arms. He stared at the child like he was looking at the first real thing he had ever seen. I would have protected him, he whispered. Maya closed her eyes. You would have tried. But everything around you, your home, your family, your company, everything in your world is built on one rule. Power doesn't share. Leon didn't argue, because she was right. He had spent his whole life learning how to win, how to dominate, how to control rooms and board votes and perception. His mother raised him like an heir, not a son. Love was conditional, affection was strategic, trust was a currency. Children in his family were not born, they were shaped. He looked at Aiden again. No, not this child, not him. What do you want from me? Leon asked quietly. Maya looked at him for a long time, searching his face for something. Regret, anger, sincerity, anything. I don't want your money, she said. Leon nodded. I know. I don't want your power. Her voice trembled. I don't want your name. I don't want to return to that house. I don't want to be put under watch again. I don't want to feel like property. Leon listened, every word cutting deeper. I just want him to be safe, she whispered. Safe from the world you were born into. Leon took in a long breath. You think I can't protect him? Maya looked away. I think your family can destroy anything if it threatens the empire. Even a child. Silence. Thick, raw. Leon gently stood and walked the baby around the room. Careful, steady, instinctive, as if his body understood how to be a father, even while his mind was drowning. You think I'll choose them over him? He said softly. Maya didn't answer, and that told him everything. Leon looked down at Aiden, who stared back up at him with eyes impossibly calm, impossibly knowing, impossibly his. This child, Leon said, voice low and steady, is not theirs. He's mine. Maya's breath caught, but she didn't move. Leon continued walking gently, bouncing once, twice, instinctively soothing the baby. Aiden relaxed into him. When my father died, Leon said quietly, I was 8. At the funeral, my mother told me to stop crying. She said grieving was a weakness. She said if I cried, the board would see a child instead of a future leader. She said I needed to prove I deserved the name. Maya watched him, eyes softening. No one held me, Leon said. No one told me it was okay to hurt. No one told me I was still a child. He looked at Aiden. I will not let that happen to him. Maya's lips parted, but no sound came out. Before she could speak, Aiden fussed, a tiny, frustrated noise. Leon smiled, softly, genuinely, maybe for the first time in years. He likes being walked, Maya whispered, surprised. I can tell. Something fragile and precious settled into the room. Something new, something that looked like a beginning. But just as it settled, sharp, violent knock struck the front door. Maya startled. Leon froze. Another knock, harder, then a voice. Cold, familiar. "Leon, open the door. We need to talk." Leon's blood ran cold. It was his mother. Maya's whole body tensed. She instinctively stepped closer to Leon, as though she could shield the baby herself if needed. Leon turned toward the door slowly, every muscle tight. The voice outside came again, cold, steady, used to being obeyed. "Leon, open this door." Maya's whisper cracked. She can't see him. Leon, she cannot see him. Leon tightened his hold on Aiden. The baby whimpered at the sudden shift in atmosphere, the air sharp with fear. "I know," Leon said. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't yell. He didn't move fast. He moved with purpose. He handed Aiden carefully back to Maya. "Go into the bedroom. Lock the door. Don't come out until I tell you." Maya hesitated, looking into his face for something. Assurance, conviction, a promise he wouldn't let the past repeat. "Leon." His voice softened, but firm. "Maya, I'm not letting her near him. Go." Maya clutched Aiden tight against her chest and rushed down the short hallway. The bedroom door clicked shut. The lock slid. Leon stood in the silence that followed, letting the rage settle into something controlled. Something deadly. Only when he was sure neither his voice nor his expression would betray anything did he open the door. His mother stepped inside. Tall, elegant, perfectly composed, not a hair out of place. Wearing a tailored charcoal coat and leather gloves, an image of wealth, status, and unshakable authority. She walked into the apartment like it was beneath her, because to her, it was. Her eyes scanned the room, cold, calculating, assessing shape, order, possible exits. The look of someone who viewed environments the same way generals view battlefields. She turned to Leon. "You didn't respond to the board's request for your signature. They're getting restless." Leon closed the door, but didn't speak. She arched a brow. "You've always been rational, son. Don't start making emotional decisions now." That word, son, hit differently now. Leon swallowed. "What are you doing here, Mother?" She gave him a thin smile. "Damage control. The quicker we resolve the Maya situation, the better." Leon's pulse thickened. "There is no Maya situation." "Oh." She moved farther into the living room, observing everything, noting the warmth of the blanket draped over the couch, the faint smell of baby lotion in the air. "And yet you're here," she murmured. Not a question, an accusation. Leon didn't flinch. "We were discussing documents." His mother turned to face him fully then, her expression sharpened by something almost amused. "You still think you can lie to me?" Leon's jaw flexed. "You still think you can control me?" Her eyes narrowed, but only slightly. That was the closest she ever came to showing surprise. "Everything I have ever done for you," she said softly, "has been to protect the legacy your father left. Our name holds power because we do not make sentimental mistakes." "Maya is not a mistake," Leon said. "She was," his mother replied, "the moment she believed she could matter." There it was, the truth she never bothered to disguise. Leon took one step closer, his voice low. "You lied to me." She didn't deny it. "You intercepted her calls, her letters, her messages," he continued. "I prevented distraction," she replied simply. "You were on the brink of inheriting the board. You needed clarity, strength, not emotional entanglements." Leon's voice darkened. "You threatened her?" His mother's expression didn't change. "I explained consequences." "You threatened a child," Leon said, barely breathing. Now she did react, though only slightly. Her chin lifted. potential child, one whose existence would complicate the succession and destabilize shareholder confidence. Leon stared at her. The woman who raised him, shaped him, carved him into a weapon. You said you loved me. She didn't blink. I raised you to survive. There was no love in that sentence, only ownership. Leon spoke quietly, but his voice carried steel. You will leave now. His mother's expression didn't flicker. No. The air tightened. She walked past him, toward the hallway, toward the bedroom. Leon moved fast. He didn't touch her. He just stepped in front of her, blocking the hall. Her eyes met his. Step aside, Leon. No. His mother held his gaze for several seconds, long, suffocating seconds, until something cold and sharp entered her eyes. You found out then, she said, not remorseful, not apologetic, just acknowledging the timing. Yes, Leon said. And yet you came here, she murmured, which means you're uncertain. Leon didn't respond. She leaned in just slightly, voice low and devastatingly precise. Children are weaknesses. They make men stupid. They make leaders soft. And soft men are devoured. Leon's throat burned. He is my son. She spoke his name like a warning. Leon. He didn't move. Her voice sharpened. If you choose them, you lose us. The board, the empire, the life you spent everything to build. You lose your place. Leon's breath trembled, but his feet remained still. I don't care, he said. Silence. Even the walls felt it. His mother's expression didn't change, but something in the room did. The temperature dropped. The air thinned. The weight of consequence settled like a shadow. I see, she said. She stepped back, straightened her coat, adjusted her gloves. Her voice returned to calm inevitability. Then war it is. She walked to the door, paused, and spoke like a verdict. That child will not have a peaceful life, Leon, and neither will you. Leon didn't blink. If you come near him, I will burn everything down, including the Harrington name. His mother held his gaze for one last moment. A quiet war declared without raised voices. Then she left. The door closed softly behind her. Not slammed, not forced, just final. Leon's breath exhaled shakily. Maya opened the bedroom door slowly, Aiden in her arms, her eyes wide and terrified. What did she say? Maya whispered. Leon turned to her, and for the first time in his life, he looked afraid. She declared war. Maya's fingers tightened around Aiden, as if the baby might be pulled from her arms at any second. Leon ran a hand through his hair and began pacing, slow, controlled, but his breathing wasn't steady. Something inside him had cracked open, and he was trying desperately not to let it spill everywhere. Maya swallowed hard. She knows I'm here. She knows he exists now. Yes, Leon said quietly. But she didn't see him. That buys us time. Not much, but some. Maya stepped toward him. Leon, what are you going to do? He stopped pacing. He looked at her, and there was no shouted answer. No impulsive promise, no rage, just a man caught between two worlds he never asked to choose between. I don't know yet, he admitted. Maya's heart tightened. I can leave. Tonight. I can pack and go to another city, another country. I have a friend who owes me. No. The word cut out of him immediately. Running won't protect him. The Harringtons have reach everywhere. You know that. Then what? Maya's voice broke. Because I cannot watch them take him. I can't. I will die before I let that happen. Leon closed the distance between them. His voice lowered, steadying. No one is taking him. Not while I'm breathing. Aiden squirmed, sensing the tension, eyes opening again, big, round, searching. Leon softened instantly, his entire body shifting as if gravity itself had changed. He brushed a thumb gently across Aiden's cheek. The baby relaxed. Maya watched this, really watched, and her eyes warmed with something she had been afraid to let herself feel again. Hope. But it was fragile, like glass. "You're different," she said quietly. Leon gave a humorless half-laugh. "Finding out you're a father tends to rearrange the universe a little." But there was something deeper there, something Maya recognized. He wasn't just reacting to Aiden, he was reacting to everything he had been raised to believe. She sat slowly on the couch, exhaustion finally anchoring her. Aiden lay against her chest again, breathing in tiny, soft rhythms. Leon sat across from her, not too close, but close enough to hold the quiet with her. After several long moments, Maya spoke again. "Leon, were you happy after I left?" Leon looked down at his hands, scars of boardrooms and handshakes and deals etched into skin that had never known softness. "No," he said simply. She blinked once, slowly. "I thought maybe you didn't care." Leon shook his head. "I cared." He swallowed. "Too much, and I didn't know what to do with that. Every fight we had, every misunderstanding. I kept thinking if I just worked harder, if I just became stronger, the problems would disappear. But I was just disappearing from you instead." Maya's eyes filled, but she blinked quickly. "I didn't want perfection, Leon. I just wanted you." He looked at her, and something inside him broke open a little more. The kind of break that lets light in. "If I had known about him." Leon's voice cracked. "If I had known, Maya, I would have burned the entire world for you." Maya believed him. She didn't say it. She didn't need to. Aiden made a tiny sound, hungry and restless. Maya sighed, her body clearly exhausted beyond its limit. Leon stood immediately. "What does he need? Bottle? Formula? Something warmed?" She blinked, startled by how quickly he noticed. "In the kitchen. The cabinet above the stove. Second shelf." She wiped her face. "He eats every 2 hours, sometimes every hour if he's unsettled." Leon nodded and strode into the kitchen, opening cabinets and searching with the intensity of a man disarming a bomb. Maya listened to the sounds, cabinet doors opening, bottle parts clinking, the low sound of water running. She leaned her head back on the couch cushion, eyes closing. She hadn't had help in 6 weeks. Not one uninterrupted hour of sleep, not one moment to simply rest. 6 weeks of living in fear, 6 weeks of loving in panic, 6 weeks of choosing safety over peace. She didn't even realize tears had fallen until she tasted salt. Leon returned, bottle ready, testing the temperature on his wrist the way she had shown him years ago when they had talked about kids. Back when it was only a dream neither had dared to say out loud. He knelt beside her and lifted Aiden gently. The baby latched onto the bottle instantly. Maya stared at Leon feeding him, her chest tightening. "You're a natural," she whispered. Leon shook his head slightly. "No, I'm learning, but I will learn fast." There was silence again, warm this time. Then Maya's voice broke it. "What now?" Leon looked up, and in those seconds, a decision formed. A slow, steady, deliberate decision. "We need to leave this apartment," he said. "Tonight." Maya stiffened. "Leave? To where?" "A place no one knows. Somewhere safe. Somewhere the family can't track easily." Maya frowned. "There is no place your family can't track." Leon leaned forward, eyes steady. "There is." She stared into his face. She believed him. "Where?" she whispered. Leon lifted Aiden to his shoulder, gently burping him, voice calm and controlled. "My father had property, land no one else knows about. He bought it before the Harrington Empire controlled him. It's not in the family name, not in business records. I only know about it because he took me once when I was a boy. Maya exhaled, a slow, shaky, hopeful breath. Leon, are you sure? Leon nodded. Yes, we go tonight. The sooner we move, the harder it is for them to mobilize. I'll handle transportation. I'll make sure no one sees us. Pack only essentials. Maya stood, shifting Aiden carefully into his arms so she could gather bags. But her knees buckled. Leon reached out instantly, catching her by the waist. Maya. She looked up at him, embarrassed, exhausted, overwhelmed. I'm just tired, she whispered. I'm fine. Leon searched her face, really looked. You haven't slept? He said softly. Not more than an hour at a time, she admitted. If I fall too deeply asleep, I'm scared I won't hear him. Leon cupped her cheek gently. You're not alone anymore, he whispered. Her breath trembled. He didn't kiss her. He didn't pull her close. He just stayed there, steady, a presence she could lean into without disappearing. Then she whispered the most fragile truth. I don't know how to trust you again. Leon nodded. I'll learn it. The apartment was quiet, except for Aiden's soft breathing, and two hearts, broken, still beating, learning to become something new. Leon carefully placed Aiden into a soft sling wrap so Maya could move freely. The baby settled instantly against his father's chest, one small hand gripping the fabric. It was almost unbelievable how quickly Aiden relaxed with Leon, as though some instinct recognized safety, even if the world around him no longer felt safe at all. Maya shoved clothes into a worn travel bag, trying to move quickly, but her hands shook too badly. A shirt slipped from her grasp, then another. She exhaled shakily and braced her hands against the edge of the dresser. Leon walked over and placed one hand on her back. Not possessive, not controlling, just steady. You don't have to rush, he murmured. Yes, we do, she whispered, voice thin. Your mother, Leon, she doesn't threaten for effect. She threatens to execute. I know what she's capable of. Leon's jaw tightened. So do I. Maya looked at him, not accusing, not angry, just tired. You didn't before. No, he said quietly. But I do now. They locked eyes, and in that moment, they saw the same thing in each other, a battle they never wanted, but had no choice except to fight. Maya's breath steadied. She returned to packing, slower, more deliberate. Leon gathered blankets, formula, diapers, moving with methodical precision, like a man preparing for a war where the first casualties would be innocents. There was no yelling, no panic, no dramatic escape. Just quiet urgency. The kind that meant everything was real and everything was dangerous. When they stepped outside, the night was cold and still. The street was dimly lit, silent except for distant traffic. Leon stayed alert, scanning for signs of surveillance. Cars that didn't belong, figures lingering, shadows that moved wrong. Nothing yet. He led them to a black sedan parked at the end of the street. Not one of his. Something untraceable. Clean, quiet, anonymous. Maya shifted Aiden slightly and whispered, Where did you get this? Old favor, Leon answered. One of the very few men my mother doesn't own. He owes me his life. And more importantly, Leon looked at her. He knows how to disappear. Maya didn't argue. She didn't need to. She just got in. Once the doors closed, the outside world felt far away, like a bad dream they hadn't fully woken from. Leon started the car and drove, not fast, not reckless, just steady. They passed street lights that flickered and neighborhoods slipping asleep. Maya watched the city blur past her window, the life she had been clinging to now fading behind her. She finally spoke. "Leon, what do you actually want?" He didn't answer immediately. He looked at the road ahead, hands steady on the wheel, voice even. "I want to protect my son." She nodded slowly. "And me?" Leon didn't hesitate. "Yes, you." Silence again. But this one was different, heavy with unspoken history. Maya's voice trembled. "You didn't choose me before." Leon exhaled, long and low. "No, I didn't understand what I was choosing. I thought I was choosing responsibility, strength, the legacy, the life I was trained to uphold. I didn't realize I was choosing emptiness." Maya watched him, tears gathering but not falling. "I loved you. I really loved you." His voice cracked, quiet but undeniable. "I know." She looked down at her hands. "I lost so much." Leon's voice softened, raw. "So did I." Aiden stirred softly, and both of them paused, watching him breathe. So small, so unaware that the world outside already had teeth. Leon brought the car off the freeway and down an isolated road lined with tall trees. The city lights disappeared behind them. The darkness didn't feel frightening. It felt like a shield. "What was your father like?" Maya asked quietly. Leon's lips parted, but he didn't answer immediately. "He was gentle," he finally said. "Not weak, but gentle. The kind of man who spoke softly and didn't need to raise his voice to be respected." His voice thickened. "He wasn't meant for the Harrington world. And when he died, my mother made sure I would never be like him." Maya's breath shivered. "He would have been proud of you tonight." Leon didn't answer. His fingers tightened on the wheel. They drove in silence until the road narrowed into gravel and the forest opened to a clearing. Moonlight spilled over a cabin, small, weathered, quiet, untouched by wealth, untouched by history, untouched by control. Maya's eyes widened softly. "It's beautiful." "It's safe," Leon corrected. For now. He parked the car and stepped out first, scanning the dark tree line, ears attuned to every sound. When he was certain, he opened Maya's door and helped her out. Inside the cabin, the air smelled of cedar and cold mountain air. The furniture was simple. Handmade wooden chairs, a stone fireplace, worn books on a shelf. No surveillance, no records, no shadows from the past. Maya set Aiden down in a small nest of blankets on the couch. The baby sighed in his sleep. Leon stood nearby, watching them both. There was something on his face Maya hadn't seen in years, vulnerability. She walked toward him slowly. "Are you okay?" Leon let out a long, shaking exhale. "No." Maya reached up and touched his cheek. Just once. Light, gentle. "You don't have to be right now." Leon closed his eyes, for the first time in his adult life. He allowed himself to hurt. He didn't break down. He didn't collapse. But his shoulders sank, his breathing uncoiled, his guard lowered. And that was more intimate than any embrace could have been. Maya leaned her forehead against his chest, his hand settling at the back of her head, not pulling her in, just holding her there, just being with her, with their son, with the truth. If you've stayed this far, your heart is in this story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. The journey is just beginning, and the storm is about to break. The cabin was quiet, wrapped in the kind of stillness that only existed far away from cities. The air was cold but clean, the fire Leon lit crackling softly in the stone hearth. Aiden slept in the makeshift cot they made beside the couch, warm under layered blankets. Maya sat close to the fire, hands wrapped around a mug of tea Leon brewed from old herbs he found in a cupboard. Her hands still trembled, but the shaking was slowing. The silence between her and Leon was not sharp now. It was fragile, delicate, healing in small, cautious breaths. Leon sat across from her, elbows on his knees. He wasn't looking at the fire. He was looking at Aiden. 6 weeks, he murmured, voice distant. I missed everything. Maya looked at him, but didn't speak yet. Leon's eyes were locked on the tiny rising and falling of Aiden's chest. His first cry, his first breath, the first time he opened his eyes. His voice caught. The first time he learned someone would come when he cried. Maya swallowed. Leon, he continued, voice low and rough. I should have been there. I should have held him. He looked up and there was something raw in his eyes. I should have held you. Maya's chest tightened. You didn't know, she whispered. That doesn't make it hurt less, he replied. Silence again. This time, Maya spoke first. You used to hold me like that, she said softly. Not in front of anyone. Never where the world could see. But at night, when the walls were quiet, you held me like the world disappeared. Leon closed his eyes. I remember. Maya looked at him, really looked, at the man he was now, not the one she left. What happened to us, Leon? He didn't answer with logic or excuses or defenses. He just said the truth. I learned how to be powerful, but no one taught me how to love. The words sat between them, painful and honest. Maya's eyes glistened. I tried to show you. I know, Leon whispered. But you were teaching me another language, and I didn't realize I needed to learn it to keep you. His voice wasn't angry. It was tired. It was humble, and it was real. Maya looked down at her hands. Love is not something you earn with achievement, Leon. It's something you let yourself feel. Something you allow to happen. Something you choose. Leon looked up slowly. And I'm choosing now. Maya's lips parted, but no answer came. Not yet. She looked away because believing him hurt, because wanting him again hurt more. Aiden stirred, making a small sound, and both of them moved at once, Leon faster. He lifted the baby carefully, rocking him slowly. Maya watched him. The man who once led boardrooms with cold authority was now pacing a cabin floor in soft, rhythmic steps, whispering small, calming noises to a child who didn't even understand the world yet. It was disarming, different, new. Leon sat back beside her, Aiden now tucked against his chest, small fingers curled into his shirt. The fire crackled softly, filling the silence. Maya spoke, barely above a whisper. She'll come for him, Leon. Leon nodded. I know. She has money, influence, lawyers, investigators, people who do things without leaving records. Maya's breath trembled. They'll paint me as unstable, as unfit. They'll say I kidnapped him. They'll destroy me. Leon's voice was steady. They'll try. Maya shook her head. No, Leon. They won't just try. They will succeed. Unless... Her voice broke. Unless you choose a side. Leon held Aiden a little closer. His voice was low but unwavering. I have. Maya turned to him slowly. Leon looked at her, eyes steady. I'm not going back. To them, to their world, to that life. Not if it means losing him, losing you. Maya's breath caught. Leon, you're talking about walking away from everything. Your family name, your company, your power, your... My freedom, he finished. Maybe that's what I needed to lose to understand what actually matters. Maya stared at him, trying to understand whether this was grief, revelation, desperation, or something stronger. A new voice cut through the night, but not spoken. A vibration. A phone. Maya tensed immediately. Leon. He already had the phone out. It was his mother. Mother, come home. We need to discuss this like adults. Leon didn't answer. Another message came. Mother, you are making impulsive decisions. Think of your future. Then, Mother, think of the child's future. Leon's jaw tightened. Maya stepped closer, whispering urgently, Leon, do not respond. If you show emotion, they'll know they can use him to manipulate you. Leon didn't respond to the messages, but he didn't turn the phone off. He opened the camera, turned it to Aiden sleeping against his chest, and took a picture. Maya's breath caught. Leon, what are you doing? He typed slowly. Leon, my son is not a bargaining chip. He pressed send. Maya froze. That's a declaration, she whispered. That's the point of no return. Leon's voice was quiet. We crossed that point the moment she threatened him. He turned off the phone and set it face down. The fire crackled. Aiden sighed in his sleep. Maya looked at Leon, her voice barely sound. How do we win this? Leon lifted his gaze, eyes no longer soft. They were sharp, focused, strategic. The same eyes that built an empire. We don't fight them in the boardroom, he said. We don't fight them in court. Maya's pulse quickened. Then where? Leon leaned closer, voice low. We fight them where they're weakest. Maya blinked, confused. Where is that? Leon looked toward the window, toward the distant world they had escaped. With the truth. The firelight flickered across Leon's face, throwing shadows beneath his eyes. Not the shadows of fear, shadows of calculation. The same expression that had once made executives tremble now carried a different kind of weight. Maya watched him, arms gently wrapped around herself. The truth, she repeated softly. Leon, the truth doesn't win against people who control everything. Leon shook his head slowly. They don't control everything. They control silence. They control reputation. They control fear. He looked up at her. But if the right truth becomes public, they can't bury it without exposing their hands. Maya stared at him. She suddenly understood. You want to go public? Leon didn't look away. Yes. Maya's inhale was sharp and pained. Leon, your mother threatened a baby. Do you have any idea what she'll do if you expose her? She will not negotiate. She will not retreat. She will go for the throat. I know, Leon said quietly. Leon, her voice trembled. She will try to destroy you. He nodded once. Then let her try. Maya stepped toward him. And what if she wins? Leon turned to Aiden, watching the slow, steady rhythm of his breathing. Then, at least he'll grow up knowing I fought for him. Maya's throat tightened so hard she could barely swallow. There were apologies inside her. Grief. Longing. But this moment was too fragile to break open yet. She sat beside him on the couch, close enough to feel his warmth, but not touching. Neither spoke for a while. The crackle of firewood filled the silence. Leon eventually leaned his head back, eyes closed. We need evidence. Maya nodded slowly. I don't have recordings. No proof. I was too scared. Leon opened his eyes, expression focused. But she's arrogant. People that powerful always leave a trail. Conversations, handwritten notes, old calls. His jaw clenched. She would have spoken to someone, a lawyer, an advisor, someone close to the family, someone who wouldn't dare betray her, but could still be used. Maya frowned. Who? Leon paused. There's someone who's always been loyal to her, but hates her more than he admits. He inhaled slowly. My uncle, Jonathan. Maya blinked. The one who was forced out of the company board. I thought he disappeared. He didn't disappear, Leon murmured. He was exiled. Understanding flickered in Maya's eyes. Because he loved your father. Leon nodded. Because he believed love was strength. and my mother believed it was weakness. Maya looked down. So he was punished. Yes, Leon said softly. And now, he's the only person left who might help us. Aiden stirred. Maya moved instantly, hands gentle. She rocked him softly until he quieted again, her movements instinctive, practiced, exhausted, loving. Leon watched her. He had seen her beautiful. He had seen her elegant. He had seen her angry, laughing, crying. But he had never seen her like this. A mother. Fierce and fragile and unbreakable all at once. Maya, he said quietly. She looked up. He searched her face carefully, like he was memorizing her. I can't promise this will be safe. I can't promise we'll win. I can't promise we'll have a quiet life or an easy one. Maya's eyes didn't waver. I'm not asking for easy, she whispered. I'm asking for real. Leon's breath caught. And we're already in real. Aiden's tiny hand reached upward and landed on Leon's chest, a small, soft press of trust. Leon exhaled shakily. The decision was made. They would fight. Morning light broke slowly over the cabin, turning fog into soft silver. Aiden lay asleep between them, Leon on one side, Maya on the other. Neither had slept much, but neither parted from him all night. When the world finally began to wake, Leon sat up first. He checked his phone. No new messages, no calls, no black cars outside. Yet. He stood and quietly stepped to the kitchen, flicking on the old kettle. The water hissed. The fire crackled. The world felt deceptively calm. Maya joined him minutes later, hair tied up loosely, exhaustion still hanging on her shoulders, but her presence stronger now, more rooted. Are you going to contact him? She asked. Leon nodded. Jonathan doesn't answer calls. He only responds to one thing. What? Old debts. He took out his phone, typed one sentence. Leon, I know why you were exiled. He sent it. Maya held her breath. They waited. Seconds. A minute. 2. Then the phone buzzed. Unknown. Meet me. Unknown. Alone. Leon's jaw tightened. He expects that. Maya immediately shook her head. You're not going alone. Leon, this isn't a business disagreement. Your family is dangerous. Leon nodded. I know, which is why you're staying here with Aiden. Not because you can't help, but because I need to know he's safe. Maya's eyes filled, but they didn't spill. If something happens to you... Leon stepped closer. If something happens to me, you take him and you run. You disappear. You change your name and you never look back. Maya didn't blink. I'm not losing you. Leon's voice lowered. You already did. She inhaled sharply, pain flickering across her face. He softened, not by retreating, but by letting the truth settle. I'm not asking you to watch me walk away. I'm asking you to trust that I'm coming back. Maya looked at him, seeing not the man who once chose his family, but the man choosing hers now. She nodded, once, firm. When will you go? Leon looked at the clock. In 1 hour. Maya crossed to him, not desperate, not clinging, just present. She placed one hand over his heart. Come back to us. Leon covered her hand with his own. I will. Aiden made a tiny sound in his sleep, almost like a sigh. And that sound, that small, peaceful breath, became the promise. Leon left to face the past. Maya stayed to protect the future. And the storm was finally in motion. Leon drove alone. The forest road was narrow, lined with tall pine trees that whispered with cold morning wind. The world outside felt far away. No skyscrapers, no polished glass conference rooms, no relentless expectations. Just quiet. But inside him, there was no quiet at all. He kept seeing Aiden's eyes, Maya's tired, trembling hands, his mother's cold stare. His childhood had taught him something he didn't understand until now. He had never been protected. He had only been shaped. And now, for the first time, he was choosing to protect someone else. The meeting point was an abandoned rail yard nearly an hour away. Rusted tracks stretched toward nowhere, and weeds pushed through gravel. A place forgotten, which made it perfect. Leon parked and stepped out. He didn't have to wait long. Jonathan Harrington emerged from behind one of the old rail cars, hands in his coat pockets. Older now, lines deeper near his eyes, beard untrimmed, clothes worn in ways that suggested he didn't care about appearances anymore. But his eyes, same sharp intelligence, same weight of knowing. "You look like hell," Jonathan said. Leon didn't waste time. "I know what Mother did." Jonathan's gaze didn't shift. "Which part?" "There's a long list." "She threatened Maya," Leon said. His voice was controlled, but every syllable carried steel. "Threatened my son." Jonathan let out a slow exhale, almost like relief that the truth had finally surfaced. "She's been doing things like that for decades, Leon. You just didn't want to see it before." He said it without judgment, only resignation. Leon stepped closer. "Help me prove it." Jonathan's eyes flickered. "A test. If I do, you'll have to understand something." Leon waited. "You will not be saving her," Jonathan said. "You will not be rescuing your son from one woman." He shook his head. "You will be tearing down an empire, and once it starts falling, it will not stop." Leon's jaw tightened. "I know." "No." Jonathan stepped closer, voice low and deliberate. "If you do this, you lose the company, the board, the money, the name, everything you were raised for. You walk away from it forever. Not just while hiding in a cabin, forever." Leon didn't hesitate. "I choose them." Jonathan examined him for a long moment. Something in his expression softened, not warmly, but with respect. "I never thought I'd hear you say that," Jonathan murmured. Leon didn't look away. "Do you have proof?" Jonathan nodded once. "I do." He reached into his coat and pulled out a small black recorder. Old, worn, digital, scratched, but intact. Leon stared at it. Jonathan held it loosely in his palm. "Your mother thinks I've forgotten everything, that I can be buried, that I can be ignored. But I remember every word, every threat, every deal, and I kept receipts." Leon's heart pounded. Jonathan continued, voice quiet but unwavering. "She called me the night Maya left. She told me to assist in making her disappear quietly. She said, and I quote, 'A child born of weakness becomes a liability, and liabilities are removed.'" Leon closed his eyes. Jonathan held the recorder out. "And it's all here." Leon reached for it, but Jonathan didn't release it yet. "Before I give you this," he said carefully, "you need to understand one more thing." Leon opened his eyes. "When you expose her, the board will turn. The shareholders will panic. The company will fracture. The media will tear the family apart. Everything your father built will burn." Leon didn't flinch. "My father didn't build that empire," he said quietly. "She did. He built a home, and she destroyed it." Jonathan stared at him for several seconds. Then finally, he released the recorder. Leon closed his hand around it. "A warning," Jonathan added. "She won't hesitate to go after Maya directly, or the child, plus public opinion or not." Leon nodded. "I know." "No, Leon." Jonathan's voice hardened. "She will go for the baby first, because that is where you are weakest." The words were a blade. Leon's breath stopped. Jonathan stepped closer. "So before you make your move, You need to be sure Maya and Aiden are untouchable. Leon's shoulders tensed. I'll keep them hidden. Jonathan shook his head. Not enough. His voice dropped to a whisper. You need someone to protect them. Someone who has no ties to the family. Someone who doesn't answer to wealth or power. Leon's brows tightened. Who? Jonathan held his gaze. Someone Maya trusts. Leon blinked. Maya trusted almost no one, except a name surfaced in his mind. A face, a memory of laughter and shared secrets, and the kind of loyalty that doesn't fade. Maya's older sister, Amara. Leon's jaw set. She'll help, he said. Jonathan nodded. Then go get her, before your mother finds them first. A cold realization hit Leon's chest. Time was already running out. The drive back to the cabin felt longer. Too long. The trees blurred past. Every second pulsed with danger. When Leon pulled up the gravel path, the cabin came into view. Still, quiet, untouched. Relief hit him too hard. He stepped inside. Maya was holding Aiden, swaying slowly, humming under her breath. Not even a song, just a soft sound to keep him calm. She looked up when Leon entered, and she knew something had changed. What happened? She asked. Leon held up the recorder. Maya stared at it like it was both salvation and a loaded gun. So we have proof, she whispered. Yes, Leon said. And now we go to war. Maya looked down at Aiden, then back at Leon. What do we do first? Leon's answer was soft, but it shook everything. We call your sister. Maya's breath caught. Her sister's name had not been spoken out loud in a long time, not since before everything fell apart. Amara, she whispered. Leon nodded. She's the only one who can help us. Someone who knows you. Someone who doesn't fear my family. Someone who won't ask questions before acting. Maya's throat tightened. We haven't spoken since I left. She was angry. She said I was foolish to marry into the Harrington family. And she was right. I didn't want to hear it. Her voice shook. I broke her heart too. Leon stepped closer. She didn't stop loving you. She just didn't know how to watch you get hurt. Maya stayed quiet for a long moment, then finally whispered, Do you think she will forgive me? Leon didn't soften the truth. No, not immediately. But she'll help you anyway, because she's your sister. Maya nodded, wiping her eyes as she stood. She shifted Aiden gently to her shoulder and took a steadying breath. I'll call her. Leon shook his head. No phone? Not yet. Not here. They could trace it. Maya froze. She hadn't even considered that. Leon continued, speaking calmly, but alert now. We leave the cabin, not permanently. Just enough to make the call somewhere untraceable. There's an old ranger station half a mile down the trail. No cameras, no records. It'll be safe enough to contact her. Maya looked exhausted at the thought of walking that far, but she nodded. She didn't argue. Leon prepared quickly, tucking the recorder securely inside his coat, gathering blankets, and settling Aiden carefully back into the sling wrap against his chest. The baby stirred a little, then relaxed, cheek pressed to Leon's heartbeat. Maya watched the way Leon held Aiden, steady, balanced, sure. She wondered how someone could look so natural doing something he had never done before. But that was Leon. When he wanted to learn something, he learned it completely. And he wanted to learn this. They stepped outside into the cold air. Maya pulled her coat tighter around herself, her breath visible in soft puffs. Leon adjusted the sling so Aiden was shielded from the wind. The forest was quiet as they began walking. The sound of crunching gravel beneath their feet was the only noise. The sky was pale with early morning light, the sun not yet risen high enough to warm anything. Maya finally spoke, voice low. Amara is going to ask what happened. She'll want every detail. And I don't think I can say it. Not all of it. Leon didn't look away from the trail ahead. Then I'll say it. Maya blinked at him. You'll tell her the truth? All of it? Leon nodded. Every piece. Maya watched him, trying to understand the man beside her. You didn't used to tell the truth easily, Leon. He exhaled, shoulders rising and falling. I didn't know how. I was raised to hide, to perform, to appear impenetrable. His voice lowered. But Aiden doesn't need that man, and neither do you. Maya felt her eyes sting again. They reached the ranger station, a weathered wooden structure with peeling paint and vines crawling along its walls. Old, forgotten, invisible to anyone not intentionally seeking it. Leon pushed the door open. It creaked loudly, but the inside was clean enough. A dusty payphone hung on the wall, untouched and disconnected from modern tracing networks. Leon nodded to it. This is safe. Maya stepped forward slowly. Her hands shook again, not with fear this time, but with the weight of what she was about to reopen. She picked up the receiver. Her voice cracked as she dialed. 1 ring, 2. Then a familiar voice answered, groggy and irritated. Who is this? Maya's breath hitched. Amara, it's me. Silence. A heavy silence. Then Amara's voice turned sharp. Maya? Maya swallowed. Yes? Another silence. Deeper this time. Filled with every argument, every disappointment, every hurt. Then Amara spoke again. Quieter now, but still sharp-edged. Where are you? Maya shook her head. I can't say yet. It's not safe. Amara's breath shifted. Not angry anymore. Alert. Protective. Sister instincts waking like a blade unsheathed. What happened? Maya looked at Leon. He nodded once, stepping closer so Amara could hear his voice. Her life was threatened, Leon said. And our son's. Silence on the line. When Amara spoke, her voice was steel. You come to me. Every moment you're exposed is danger. Send me your coordinates now. We can't, Maya began, but Amara cut in immediately. You listen to me. I don't care who you married. I don't care who you left. I don't care what happened between us. You are my sister. And if someone threatened your child, then we are done talking. You come to me. Maya closed her eyes as tears fell silently. Okay, she whispered. Leon took the receiver gently and spoke. We'll move carefully. It may take time. Amara's voice sharpened. Leon, if anything happens to them before they reach me, I will hunt you myself. Leon didn't flinch. Good, he said quietly. Hold me to that. The call ended. Maya stood there for a moment, hands covering her mouth, crying in a way she had not allowed herself to cry in months. Not loud, not broken, just release. Leon stepped forward and pulled her into his free arm. Aiden sleeping between them. They didn't hold each other because they were romantic. They held each other because survival sometimes looks like two people refusing to fall apart at the same time. When Maya finally found her breath again, her voice was steadier. When do we leave? Leon didn't answer with words. He just held her hand. And together, they stepped back out into the cold morning, the path forward uncertain, dangerous, and unstoppable. They left the cabin before the sun was fully awake, the sky still tinted in the cool violet of early dawn. The air was cold enough that it bit at their cheeks, but not enough to slow them. There was no hesitation now, only forward motion. Aiden slept against Leon's chest, wrapped securely in the sling. Each tiny exhale warmed a small patch of Leon's skin through the fabric, as if reminding him why every single step mattered. Maya walked beside them, her steps steady despite the exhaustion living in her bones. She didn't need to be carried. She needed to move, to protect, to be part of every second. The forest was quiet except for the crunch of gravel and frost underfoot. No words were necessary. The silence between them was full, connected, understood. "When we find Amara," Maya finally said, her voice low, "I don't know how she'll look at me. I left her too. She tried to help, she warned me, and I still walked away." Leon didn't stop. "You didn't leave her. You were surviving. She'll know that when she sees you." Maya exhaled slowly. "Maybe. She will," Leon said, certain, not comforting her, stating truth. They reached the old ranger station, a small wooden structure buried by vines and time. Leon pushed open the door, and the stale air met them. The payphone hung in the corner, untouched by years of progress. Maya lifted the receiver with hands that trembled more from the weight of memory than cold. She dialed. 1 ring, 2, a sharp breath on the other end. "Hello?" Maya swallowed. "Amara." Silence, but not empty. A silence full of shock, questions, and history. "Maya?" Amara's voice was sharper now, awake, alert. "Yes," Maya whispered. "I'm here." No anger came. No accusations. Just a tightening of breath. "Where?" Maya shook her head, though her sister couldn't see. "I can't say yet. It's not safe." A pause. Then Amara spoke, voice steadier. "Is it the Harringtons?" Maya's eyes filled. "Yes." "Are you in danger?" Another breath. "We were." "Is the baby?" Maya's voice cracked. "He's safe. He's okay." That changed something. Something quiet. Something deep. Amara's voice dropped to a command low enough to feel like protection. "Then listen to me. You come to me. Directly. No one knows this location except me. You're safe here. I'll handle the rest." Maya closed her eyes. "Okay." The call ended. Not with confusion. Not with anger. With certainty. They stepped back outside. The air was colder now, but neither shivered. Leon adjusted the sling slightly and passed Maya the small baby blanket so she could tuck it around Aiden's cheek. "You're good at this," she murmured, watching how gently Leon kept the baby steady. "I'm learning," Leon answered. "And I'll keep learning." Maya looked up. The man who once led with ego now led with responsibility. The man who once guarded his heart now protected what it held. The man shaped by power now chose love instead. They walked for another half-mile until the road opened enough for a car to approach. A black SUV appeared from around the bend, tires crunching softly on gravel. It slowed to a stop. The driver stepped out. Amara. Her presence was strong, shoulders back, eyes sharp, face unflinching. She didn't run to Maya or break into tears. She simply walked up to her and placed one hand on Maya's cheek. "You're here," Amara said. "I'm here," Maya breathed. And that was all that needed to be said. Then Amara looked at Leon, not with gratitude, not with accusation, with evaluation. "You kept them safe on the way here," she said. "Yes," Leon replied. She studied him for another long second, then nodded once, a nod of acknowledgement, responsibility passed, trust given carefully, not blindly. "Then the first part is done," Amara said. Maya let out a shaky breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Leon adjusted Aiden one more time, making sure the baby's head rested comfortably. Amara opened the SUV door. "Come, the house is secure. No one knows about it. We can breathe there." They climbed in. Maya sat in the back seat beside Aiden, her hand resting on his tiny back. Leon sat beside her, not in front, not apart, beside. The SUV pulled away, the forest fading behind them. The cabin disappeared from view, but not from memory. it would always remain the place where the truth came into the light, where Leon's heart cracked open, where Maya stopped running alone, where Aiden's life was claimed not by bloodlines, but by choice. As the road stretched ahead of them, uncertain, unpredictable, but theirs, Maya leaned her head gently onto Leon's shoulder. Not because she needed to, because she wanted to. Leon rested his cheek against the top of her head, and his hand found hers. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. They had survived the worst moment. They had protected the child who was never meant to survive. They had chosen each other, not with vows or promises, but with action. And whatever came next, they would meet it together. Not as broken pieces, but as a family. And their fight is only just beginning. The past will not stay behind. The world they escaped is already tightening its grip. And dawn does not promise safety, only sight. Watch out for part 2, because the storm hasn't hit yet. And when it does, everything will change. If this story touched you, even for a moment, don't just move on. Comment, "I'm ready for part 2." Like so this story reaches others who need it. Subscribe so you're here when the next chapter drops. Your engagement is the difference between stories that fade and stories that continue.